Kauai, the Garden Isle. One of 8 volcanic islands in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, Kauai is the oldest of the main islands of Hawaii. A stunningly beautiful island full of dramatic cliffs, cascading waterfalls, crystal clear water, more magnificent landscapes than your eyes can reasonably handle, and chickens. Lots and lots of chickens. Visiting Kauai is like stepping into a dream. If that dream is stepping onto the set of Jurassic Park. Just without the dinosaurs trying to eat you. I dare you to visit this island and not become completely obsessed with it. So come with me as I show you the best beaches, adventure activities, local island grub, money-saving tips, and more. Tip number 1, beaches. Like I said in my Oahu video, if you're like most people, this is why you come to Hawaii. And the island of Kauai has some of the most incredible beaches in the Hawaiian Islands. First up, one of the most famous beaches in Hawaii, Hanalei Bay. Nestled against the majestic backdrop of the mountains on the north shore, this massive crescent-shaped beach is one of the most spectacular beaches in the world. Perfect for swimming in the summer and great for surfing in the winter. But even just walking along the sand and taking in the backdrop or hanging out by the iconic pier, this is a place that will take your breath away. Moving down the road, we hit Tunnels Beach. Probably my favorite beach on the island, and one of the best snorkeling spots I've ever visited. The beach gets its name from the collapsed lava tubes in the coral reef just offshore, some of which you can even swim through. Come here for the views, stay for the incredible snorkeling. If you're lucky, you may even get to see one of these beauties. Just please be respectful and don't touch the turtles. Not only is it harmful to them, it's actually illegal. Seriously, they will throw you into turtle jail where not even Leonardo, Michelangelo, Donatello, Raphael, or any other Renaissance painter can help you. I think I'm getting off track. Just be aware the parking here can be very difficult, so make sure to come as early as possible to snag a spot. If you can't find a spot, you can park down the road at Hyanna Beach and walk back. And while at Hyanna Beach, make sure to check out the impressive dry cave. Moving even further down the coast of the North Shore, we have Kēʻē Beach. This beach is at the very end of the road in the island and marks the official start of the famous Pali Coast. Another phenomenal snorkeling spot. Relax in the crystal clear waters and stare up at the magnificent cliffs rising high above. Note, this beach requires a reservation to the state park, which I'll get into later, but the link is listed below. One thing to remember about these North Shore beaches, they're amazing in summer for swimming and snorkeling, but they do get larger surf in the winter. Still amazing, but it can get a bit dicey if the waves are big, so just use your best judgment. My final favorite spot on the North Shore is called Anini Beach. This is a serene stretch of sand that rarely gets too busy, and unlike its North Shore brethren, is good for swimming and snorkeling all year long due to the protection of the reef just offshore. Next, let's move down the coast to the east side of the island to Lydgate Beach Park in Wailua. A great beach for kids and families or an afternoon barbecue. There's even a protected lagoon that's almost like a swimming pool. Next up, we move south to the sunny beaches of the southern shore. First up, framed by jagged cliffs, we have Shipwreck Beach. A great spot for wave sports and surfing, or just sitting and staring at the impressive cliffs. Another favorite beach just down the road is the charming Kiahuna Beach, and our last beach on the South Shore is Poipu Beach, arguably Kauai's most famous beach after Hanalei Bay. It's busier than some others, but not terrible even in the height of tourist season. This picturesque little double cove is great for swimming, snorkeling, and every evening just before sunset, Hawaiian green sea turtles swim ashore to sleep for the night. Come here and watch them. They are enchanting, adorable creatures. Moving to the west side, we have the wonderful Kekaha Beach Park. And finally, we reach one of the most special beaches I have ever visited. All the way on the far west side of the island lies the awe-inspiring Polihale Beach. A local favorite, this beach leaves a lasting impression. The road to the beach is a long dirt road filled with potholes that may seem a little scary in your rental car. My friend Sarah, who grew up on the island, actually has a family saying about driving out to Polihale, nothing parties like a rental. And while she's right, I promise if you just take it slow and don't drive out onto the actual sand of the beach, you'll be fine. The locals say this place has a lot of mana, which can mean spiritual energy or power in Hawaiian, and they are not wrong. About halfway down the dirt path, I was seriously questioning my life choices, but once I got to the beach, I realized every bump in the road was worth it. And remember, with all of these beaches, please be respectful, clean up after yourself, and respect the spiritual energy of the island. This place is magic. After all, you do not want to anger the island spirits. Or worse, the comment section. Tip number 2, where to stay and how to get around. Kauai is a small island with distinct areas, each offering a unique vibe. Let's break it down. The North Shore, my favorite part of the island. It's the wettest, but also the most dramatic. With lush landscapes and towering cliffs, this area includes Hanalei and Princeville, where you'll find some of the island's most stunning scenery. The east side of the island includes the towns of Kapa'a, Wailua, and Lihue. It's centrally located, making it a convenient base, plus you'll find cheaper condo rentals here compared to the pricier areas of Poipu and the North Shore. The South Shore around Poipu is known for its sunny weather and beautiful beaches. Poipu is probably the most popular and most expensive place to stay on the island. Lastly, the west side. This area has a more local vibe and offers close proximity to some of the island's best hikes, including Waimea Canyon. It's quieter and less touristy, making it a wonderful area for people looking to escape the crowds and really get away from it all. As for how to get around, you basically rent a car. There are cheap public buses if you're on a budget, but they don't offer as much freedom and Uber is insanely expensive. Just remember that rental car companies can book up in advance, so it's always good to plan ahead, especially during the busy months. As for actually getting around, the island is very easy to navigate. There's basically one main road that goes around the entire coast, except the Pali Coast, which has to be hiked into. And you can get from one side of the island to the other in about 2 hours or a little more depending on traffic. As for where to stay, nice hotels around the Poipu area are lovely but can be quite expensive, so I usually go the Airbnb or Vrbo route. This last trip I got my fantastic little condo right on the ocean near Hanalei on Vrbo for around $300 a night in high season. Just make sure when choosing a rental that they've been around for a while and have good reviews. The state has heavy fines for people who are renting illegally, and you don't want to be canceled last minute. Moving along, tip number 3, tour the Pali Coast by boat. This is probably the one thing I make sure I do every time I visit Kauai. There are lots of companies that offer tours, but Captain Andy's is my favorite. They have some amazing adventure raft tours that take you through waterfalls and into mysterious caves with gin clear water. It's an awesome adventure. But if you're like me, old, and prefer a slightly more relaxing but still incredible experience, my favorite is their Sunset Dinner Catamaran Cruise. Hang out on a beautiful boat, enjoy some good grub, whale watch in the winter months, maybe spot some dolphins, and just sit back as one of the most spectacular coastlines in the world drifts by. Tip number 4, take a helicopter tour. Now, this might sound like hyperbole, but a helicopter tour of Kauai isn't only one of the best things you can do on the island, it's one of the best things you can do anywhere in the world. If there is one activity I would say you must splurge on while in Kauai, it is a helicopter tour. It allows you to see the island in a way you never dreamed possible. Nothing else comes close. More than 70% of Kauai can't be visited on foot, so this really is the best way to see most of the island. There are lots of companies on the island that do tours, but my absolute favorite and always go-to is Island Helicopters. Family owned and operated, they've always given me the most memorable and spectacular experience. All their pilots are knowledgeable and entertaining, and I suppose most importantly, good at flying helicopters, which seems important. Island Helicopters is also the only company that's allowed to land at the waterfall where they land in Jurassic Park, which we can all agree is the greatest film ever made, so it's an absolutely unforgettable experience. It's not a cheap excursion, but I promise you will not regret it. It is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, my highest possible recommendation. I'm not crying, you're crying. Okay, I was crying. There was lots of crying. It was so beautiful. Tip number 5, if you've watched any of my other videos, you know I travel the world on my stomach, and Kauai is no different. My favorite spots are scattered all over the place, so let's do a food circle around the island, starting with the west side. Island Taco makes their own tortillas in-house, and they have some excellent fish tacos. For breakfast, get the Loco Moco at Gina's Any Kind Grinds. If you've never had Loco Moco, it's a Hawaiian staple. Theirs has amazing house-made hamburger, fried eggs, and waffle fries, all served over white rice and covered in delectable gravy. It's probably around 30,000 calories, but calories don't count when you're on vacation. That's just science. Next, for probably my favorite breakfast spot on the island, Kalaheo Cafe and Coffee Company has maybe the best French toast I've ever had and some incredible pastries. For dinner, Japanese Grandma's Cafe has some wonderful Japanese food. And finally, no trip to Hawaii would be complete without shave ice. And the shave ice at JoJo's is some of the best I've had anywhere in the Hawaiian Islands. Make sure to get yours topped off with their heavenly coconut cream, which is the nectar of the gods. And don't worry, if you're not staying on the west side, there are 2 other JoJo's locations in Wailua and Hanalei. Moving along to the south side of the island, let's start with the musubi truck. Musubi, for those who haven't had it, is like a sushi roll, but instead of fish, it's fried Spam. It's as Hawaiian as it gets, and as delicious as it gets. The deep fried musubi is my go-to, but they also have excellent poke and truffle tater tots that I haven't confirmed are part potato, part crack, but I am looking into it. Next, puka dog, a Polish hot dog stuffed into their homemade Hawaiian sweetbread, filled with a garlic lemon sauce, then topped with different kinds of fruit relish. This place is just so damn good. Next on the south side, located in the lovely and slightly upscale shops at Kukui'ula, if you like garlic, the garlic shrimp plate at Savage Shrimp might just be your perfect meal. And if you don't like garlic, you should seriously reconsider your life choices. And right around the corner, the ice cream at Lappert's is outstanding. My favorite flavor is the Kauai pie. For some of the best poke on the island, make sure to hit up Kaloa Fish Market. And my final place on the South Shore, if you're looking for a fancier meal, Beach House is a wonderful restaurant. The macadamia crusted fish here is so good I might have drooled a little, and the view does not suck. Moving to the east side is where you get some of the best local food you can find on the island. First, no trip to Hawaii would be complete without having one of their most ubiquitous dishes, the plate lunch. The plate lunch at Mark's Place is my favorite. The combination plate is their signature dish, but I always order the teriyaki beef plate with extra mac potato salad that will change your life. Next, we hit the delicious hole-in-the-wall Hamura Simon. Simon is basically ramen, but with a Hawaiian twist. This spot is usually packed with locals, and for good reason. It's absolutely excellent. Don't leave without trying their famous lilikoi chiffon pie. For some sweet treats, Hawaii Bakery has some of the best malasadas you'll ever eat. If you've never had a malasada, they're basically a donut, but elevated to godliness. Another excellent spot for malasadas is Passion Bakery Cafe in Wailua. Lastly, on the east side, we hit another one of my must-hit spots, Tip Top Motel and Cafe. The banana pancakes will make you change your religion to pancake, but if you want a really special breakfast, think outside the box a little and get the oxtail soup. It may not be your typical breakfast item, but it is one of the single best dishes you can get on the island. Trust me, I'm a guy on the internet. Finally, we move up to the North Shore. My have-to-eat place here is Kilauea Fish Market. The ahi tuna wrap is the stuff of legends, and their poke is some of the best you can get on the island. Moving into Hanalei, the popular Hanalei Bread Company has some great breakfast. The poke at Hanalei Poke is utterly delicious, and for a fancier meal, one of my favorite restaurants on the island, Barracuda, has some truly delectable tapas. If you want a nice dinner out, I cannot recommend this place enough. And to wrap up our food tour, we end with Tahiti Nui, or the Nui. This quirky bar is a Kauai classic. Local music most nights, solid food, and very strong drinks. This place has the best Mai Tai on the island. Rumor has it that the name came from Tahitians who drank it and said Mai Tai Roa Ai, which I believe translates to I'm about to get extremely drunk, please help me stumble home. I think it means both things. Tip number 6, drive up to the viewpoint of Waimea Canyon, often called the Grand Canyon of the Pacific, and take in the breathtaking expanse of red and green cliffs, deep valleys, and winding rivers. The view from up here is nothing short of awe-inspiring. With layers of vibrant colors and textures stretching out as far as the eye can see, you simply can't help but feel small against the backdrop of this ancient, rugged landscape. Tip number 7, visit some of Kauai's botanical gardens and nature preserves. Kauai isn't called the Garden Isle for nothing, and its many botanical gardens and nature preserves are a must visit for anyone who loves the beauty of the natural world. Start with the Allerton and McBryde gardens, located near Poipu. These neighboring gardens offer a stunning mix of cultivated landscapes and wild beauty, with everything from towering rainforest trees to meticulously designed gardens. Each turn of the path reveals something new, from exotic flowers to hidden waterfalls. It's not just a garden, it's a living museum. This is also where they filmed much of Jurassic Park, including the famous scene where Dr. Grant finds the dinosaur eggs. Life finds a way. Next, visit the Kilauea Point Wildlife Refuge. While it's known for its historic lighthouse perched dramatically on the edge of a cliff, the surrounding refuge is home to a variety of seabirds and offers sweeping ocean views. The sight of the lighthouse against the deep blue sea make this spot one of the most dramatic places on the island. Tip number 8, in the summer months when the weather on the North Shore is calm, check out Queen's Bath. A natural hole in the lava shelf, a short hike from Princeville leads you past a beautiful waterfall and across rugged volcanic rock to the most beautiful swimming hole I've ever seen. Fed from the ocean, this place is pure magic. However, it does come with a major caveat. The weather here can be very unpredictable, especially in winter, but all year round, and the waves can get dangerous. Like, life-threatening dangerous. So please only hike out to Queen's Bath if the waves and weather are calm. But if you catch it on a good day, you're in for an absolute treat. Tip number 9, take a hike. Kauai has some of the most sensational and diverse hiking trails you will find anywhere in the world. First up, one of the most popular hikes on the island, Waimea Canyon to Waipōʻo Falls. We've covered how spectacular the viewpoint is at Waimea Canyon. Now, let's hike through it. This 3.6-mile hike takes you through lush forests, across rugged terrain, and along ridges that offer sweeping views of the canyon's dramatic cliffs to the top of Waipōʻo Falls. Note, you'll be on top of the waterfall, so don't expect to see it from below and wander around for an hour like I did. You're already on top of it. But truly, this hike offers unbeatable views of one of the most stunning canyons in the world. Next, one of the most unique hikes I've ever done, the Alakaʻi Swamp Trail. About 90% of the plant life on Kauai is not native to the island, but the Alakaʻi Swamp is one of the few places where you can still find a truly native ecosystem. You hike over planks of wood that have been laid down in the ground, some of which are new, some not so new. Just try and stay on the planks so you don't upset the delicate ecosystem. It's said that James Cameron camped here while getting inspired to film Avatar, and walking through the swamp, it's clear why. It feels like you're walking through Pandora, just without all the glowing stuff and giant blue aliens. At the end of the hike, you were treated to a spectacular view of Hanalei Bay, but remember, this is one of the wettest places in the world, so the day I went, this was my view. You win some, you lose some. Even without the view, it's a great hike. Without an all-wheel drive vehicle, you'll need to hike in starting at the Pihea Trailhead, which is an amazing hike on its own with stunning views of the Nepali coastline. Next, for those who want a much less strenuous but still gorgeous hike, I would recommend the Māhāʻulepū Heritage Trail near Shipwreck Beach. This 4-mile round-trip hike winds you along the cliffs of the southern shore of the island, giving you ocean views, rugged coastline, and unique limestone formations. Continuing on, we come to my favorite hike on the island, the ʻAwaʻawapuhi Trail. It's definitely the most strenuous on this list, but the insane views of the Nepali coast at the end are absolutely worth it. The hike has the unique feature of descending down around 2,000 feet to the viewpoint. So the hike there is easy, incredible, and the views will take your breath away. The hike out will also take your breath away, just in a very different way. I would like to have a personal word with the landscape architect who designed this hike. Also, downloading a hiking app like AllTrails will help you stay on track when you inevitably lose cell service out there on the trail. As someone with the sense of direction of a Roomba stuck in a corner, I highly recommend this app. Oh, and AllTrails, if you're listening and would like to sponsor me, I will gladly take your money. Okay, thanks, bye. Keep in mind the Waimea Canyon and Kokeʻe State Parks cover a vast swath of land, so my best suggestion is to head to the Kokeʻe State Park Museum right in the middle of the park and ask them advice on what hike is best for you. And finally, we come to what is probably the most famous hike in the entire Hawaiian Islands, the Kalalau Trail along the iconic Pali Coast. Hiking the entire 11-mile trail is incredibly strenuous and will easily take you an entire day, or more likely two, with limited camping available in the park. But for the slightly less hardcore hiker, like myself, trekking only 2 miles in brings you to Hanakāpīʻai Beach, a stunning beach surrounded by towering cliffs with caves you can explore. Just don't go swimming in the beach, there is a dangerous undertow and no lifeguards, but the view is amazing. An additional 4 miles inland takes you to the 300-foot tall Hanakāpīʻai Falls. The hike to the falls is decidedly exhausting, with a couple of tricky river crossings, but as long as you're reasonably fit, you'll be fine. And the waterfall at the end more than makes up for the effort. That was not me, but whoever you are, sir, I commend you. Note, this entire park, including the hike and Kēʻē Beach, requires a reservation, which you can make at the Haena State Park website linked below. You can book a reservation up to 30 days in advance, and while it's possible to book a reservation at their parking lot so you can drive yourself, those spots fill up fast. I mean within 30 seconds after midnight fast. So I usually just book the shuttle. Tip number 10, adventure time. First, let's start at Kauai Backcountry Adventures for their amazing river tubing experience. This tour takes you along a lazy river and through a series of tunnels carved out for irrigation in the 1870s. Some of the caves are so dark, you can't see anything. So if you're claustrophobic, this might not be for you, but if you're not, it's totally awesome. Next, staying on the same property, zip line through the jungle canopy. They have a 7-line course which is as thrilling as it is picturesque. Another great adventure, take an ATV tour with Kipu Ranch Adventures. If you've never done an ATV tour, this is a great one to start with. It winds you through jungles and across an amazing valley which has served as the filming location for I don't even know how many films. They tell you on the tour, I forgot. Just pure adrenaline pumping fun. Next up, which should honestly be a tip on its own, kayak the Wailua River to Secret Falls, which really aren't that secret. The trip takes you on a serene paddle through lush jungle and the calm waters of the Wailua River, followed by a short hike through the forest alongside a scenic jungle stream, where you'll arrive at the stunning Uluwaihi Falls. It's a peaceful, secluded spot where you can take a refreshing dip under a spectacular waterfall. There are tour companies, but I always just rent a kayak at the appropriately named Bring Me a Kayak and do it on my own. And tip number 11, it wouldn't be one of my tropical destination videos without scuba diving. And Kauai has some diving that's great for all levels. For the best dive in the island, do the incredible full-day tour to Niihau. But if time is a factor, an excellent spot that appeals to divers of any level is called the Sheridan Caverns. It's off the coast in front of, I'll let you guess which hotel, stop guessing, it's the Sheridan. Collapsed lava tubes, swim-throughs, and lots of turtles. This is a fantastic dive site. There are lots of dive shops on the island, but my favorite is Fathom 5 Divers. Great staff, knowledgeable and cool instructors, and just an all-around good vibe. Just remember, you don't have to swim faster than the shark, just faster than your dive buddy. I'm sorry, I am 40 now, so dad jokes just spill out of me. Like that time I spilled the coffee. That was a poor decision. I'm sorry, I'm seeking help. Tip number 12, go to a luau. There are a few authentic luau's on the island, but my favorite is Luau Kalamaku, a truly immersive experience set on the historic and beautiful Kilohana plantation. Before the main event, you can enjoy a charming train ride through the lush property, taking in the scenery, feeding some animals, learning about the island's history, and the luau itself features a feast of traditional Hawaiian dishes. But the real highlight of the evening is the mesmerizing performance which tells the story of the first Tahitian voyagers who landed in Hawaii. With authentic hula, powerful storytelling, and insane fire dancing, the show gives you a unique and special view into the history and culture of the island. The performers are wonderful, and the entire experience is just special. Perfect for a date night, a family outing, or a lovely evening by yourself with a bunch of camera gear. And my final tip, drive around this unique and incredible island and get lost in the small town vibes of this sensational paradise. Check out the wonderful Friday night art market in the historic and incredibly charming town of Hanapepe. Also, the farmers market on Saturday mornings across the street from the Kauai Community College is one of the best places to get local fruit, food, and goods. Wander through the old town of Waimea after a long hike in the canyon. Go bike riding on the spectacular bike trail in Kekaha. This gorgeous bike trail could honestly have been a tip in and of itself. And most importantly, respect the culture, learn about the local traditions, and take a moment to connect with the locals. Share a smile, strike up a conversation, and feel the genuine aloha spirit of the wonderful people who live here. I will never forget the first time I saw Kauai as a kid, and while the island has changed over the years, it still maintained that enchanting, small-town, unspoiled allure that captivated me from the first time I saw its natural beauty. It is a special place, a wondrous place. So make sure to experience all that it has to offer and allow yourself to get lost in the magic of the Garden Isle. Thank you so much for watching. I know it's been a few years, so it really means the world to be back. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. It really helps. Also, remember, these are just my personal tips, so if you have any of your own favorites that I missed, please throw them in the comments section. I always love to hear from you. Huge thank you to Sarah and Josh Rudinoff for all their help with this video. Also, big shout out to Matt at Aya Productions for the amazing additional whale, dolphin, and boat footage. Also, thank you to Zane Prasad for saving my butt out there. See you soon from somewhere else in the world.